Okay, we're going to look at how we can make things a little more effective with be able to do stuff that we've been doing with using fewer uh, or less code. Let's take a look here. So here we have grid flipping, and you saw this. I mean, this is no different than our old grid flipping, and this one works exactly the same way. Well, that's not true. It looks like it works exactly the same way, but this uses much less code. Now here was what our original grid flipping looked like, and remember we had uh, a function for each cell, for flipping each cell. That's kind of ugly, right? I mean, we have to copy and paste and copy and paste. And for 9, that's okay. If we had a 10 by 10 grid, so we had 100 cells, that would mean that we would need 100 of these flipping functions. And that really starts to get ugly, really ugly. So we can do it better. So here was our original grid flipping. I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to get rid of that. And we are now going to learn about the event parameter. Look at this. I have an event handler here, and that's it. Just one. Just one. Look at this. I have just one instead of the 9 that I had before. How did I do that? Well, this isn't any different. I have everything has its ID, and I have CLR1 all the way through, so I know that it all starts at blue. So what happens up here? This should catch your eye, because up until now, oops, if I can type the right stuff, this is what it looked like. This has always been empty. But it turns out that when an event happens, the JavaScript engine gathers up all kinds of information about the event. So when this click happens, it gathers up lots and lots and lots of information about this click, and it packages it up. And if we provide a parameter here, it drops it all in this parameter for us. Now we could name it anything we wanted to. We could call it try sir or something. I mean, we could use any silly name that we wanted to, but because it's the event parameter, we usually use E or EV or event. Some people use event. I kind of take the middle road. I don't like to type out all of event, but E just seems a little short for me. But you can use E if you'd like to. And then we can do all kinds of things. Now what EV does is that it it has a property called target. And target is the thing that actually received the click. So target would be that cell. You notice that I'm not having to use the IDs of the cell. So it's that cell. Or if I click there, it's that cell. And it automatically gets that by target. So I don't even have to use document.getElement by ID, because the event parameter automatically gives me a way to access whatever it was that was actually clicked. Now I use something here called node name, and that tells me the type of thing it is. So, and then 2 lowercase. The thing is with node name, sometimes you can get uppercase, sometimes you can get lowercase. So to make sure that when we do a comparison here, it's all, it matches. We don't get a mismatch because this was uppercase. For any string, we can use this function, 2 lowercase. We just use a dot after the name of the string, and it'll automatically convert the string to lowercase. And so here we're checking to make sure that the string, or I'm sorry, we're checking to make sure that we actually clicked a TD and not something else. If we clicked something else, we just return and don't do anything more. Now, why would we worry about that? Well, I didn't really take a close look at this, but maybe we ought to do that. You notice that it is not listening for a click on individual squares here, individual cells. It's listening for a click on something called flip tab. What is flip tab? Flip tab is this table. look, the table has the ID flip tab. So now I'm telling it, listen for a click anywhere on this table. Isn't that nice? I don't have to have a separate listener for each particular cell. I can just say, listen for a click on anywhere in this table. But anywhere in this table could mean clicking on a line somewhere, or border. And so that would not then be a TD, and that is why we use this. So that's how it works. We listen on a bigger element that has smaller things in it, and then we make sure that we only do something if what gets clicked inside there is one of the elements we're interested in. So we're listening on the whole table, but when I actually click something, this event information, the event handler, doesn't just tell me that I clicked the table, it actually returns the particular thing inside the table that got clicked. So if I click this is cell C9, even though this says listen for a click on the table, when I click that, the event parameter says, oh, they clicked C9. And so as the target, it actually returns this particular cell. It doesn't return the whole table. This is extraordinarily convenient. This is just really, really wonderful. And then we do the flipping the same way we did before. We simply check up here. We have the color. And here we set the color to be whatever the target's data set call is. So that's this part here, and you saw how we switched that back and forth. So if it happens to be color 1, then it's going to change it to color 2. It's going to use color 2 from up here. Oh, let me come up here. It's going to use this to get the color it's supposed to use right here. And it's going to change the data set color value to CLR2 now to let it know that, yep, I have color 2. So the next time I come in, it can flip it back to color 1. So that's how we can seriously reduce the amount of work we have to do by using the event parameter right here. Now, just to help you understand why we do this, why we check, here is another grid flipping, but it's a very big grid, right? You see this? I could click that part of the table, and we don't want it to do anything if I click that part of the border, and you notice that it doesn't. So what happened is I clicked here, it recognized here that I had clicked the table, it comes in here, and it checks and says, oh, is the target a TD element? When I clicked down here, the answer was no, so it just returned. It ignored all of this stuff. It just returned and didn't do anything else. Normally when we use this sort of technique where we're gathering up clicks on something big, but we're using the event parameter to get just the smaller thing that we want to use, very often we do this to make sure that what we're getting is really one of the pieces on the inside that we really want. But this is wonderful. I mean, this is going to make your life so much easier.